The removal of the fuel subsidy by federal government has brought untold socioeconomic hardship to Nigerians, especially marginalized groups like persons with disabilities, women, and youth. The fuel subsidy removal policy led to a 320% increase in the cost of fuel and astronomical increase in the cost of basic goods and services like food, transportation, medical services, and housing, among others. The combined effect of the fuel subsidy removal and naira floating policy of the federal government has made life very difficult. The fear of the price of fuel will further go up, with surface queues at petrol stations, and the fall in the value of the naira are a major source of worry for ordinary Nigerians. While we are not unmindful of these severe economic challenges before the government, we believe that the economy can still be managed in such a way to minimize the pains that Nigerians are currently feeling.
We acknowledge the measures announced by the President Bola Tinubu during his July 31 and Independence Day forecast. They are welcome developments. There is, however, a need to do more. To do more, however, the federal, state, and local government needs to bring organizations of persons with disabilities, OPDs, to the table. This government also needs to demonstrate that they are practicing what they preach. Many Nigerians are concerned that while the government is asking them to tighten their belts and ensure the painful effects of their economic policy, the government is doing the direct opposite.
Now, we've made the following recommendation. One, the representative organization of persons with disabilities and civil society should be incorporated into the planning, implementation, and monitoring of the cash transfer initiative, and such other measures that may be initiated by government at all levels. In respect of the fuel subsidy removal policy, the federal, state, and local governments should introduce an affordable public transportation system inaccessible that is accessible to persons with disabilities. Beginning in October 2023, we earlier set a commencement date of September, but it has clearly not been achieved. This program should provide discounted or a free transportation voucher, passes, or dedicated transport services to ensure affordable and accessible transportation options for persons with disabilities. Accessible transportation should include buses with adjustable ramps and handrails for wheelchair users, signage and electronic display for direction with audio announcement for the benefit of the deaf and the blind. The federal and state governments should initiate a standalone social protection intervention for persons with disabilities, including establishing reliable database of persons with disabilities, food bank for an equitable distribution of economic palliative to persons with disability, and targeted financial assistance. There is no clarity on how recently announced by the federal government and the state government this recommendation will address that. I hand over to Recording.
Reverse the value added tax VAT from 7.5% to 5% by October, at least before the end of October 2023, and has further increases in existing taxes, tariffs, and duties, as well as other introduction of the new ones for the next 1 year to increase the purchasing power of Nigerians, especially PWD. We had also proposed this to begin to take effect in September, but it has not been achieved, and we are hoping that this time around it will be achieved. Also, we have noted commentaries from the federal government about reducing numbers of taxis in the country from about 62 to a single digit. We believe that this and our recommendation above are most desirable if we want to move the nation forward. Number five, government should conduct awareness campaigns to educate the public about the challenges faced by persons with disabilities, emphasizing the importance of inclusive transportation and advise ethics of the fuel subsidy removal on the community of persons with disability. This program should promote empathy, respect, and understanding to curb discrimination and foster inclusive society. Everywhere in the world, people with disability are given special attention. And I don't know why in Nigeria, public officials are finding it difficult to understand the global trends that seek to include and ensure inclusiveness for people with disability. Today you may be okay, tomorrow you don't know what will happen to you. I am a living testimony. 7 years I was not having any challenge, but today I have. Federal government should work towards disability inclusive budgeting to facilitate effective implementation of disability inclusive policies towards a robust social protection system for vulnerable Nigerians, especially persons with a disability. There is no better time for this than now, when the 2024 budget is being implemented. Ordinarily, if you have people that are interested in inclusive budgeting, by now they should have actually invited. The federal government should ensure the full implementation of the Discrimination Against Persons with a Disability Prohibition Act, particularly the 5% employment quota for the PWD, and incentives private and public sector employers to implement workforce inclusion initiatives for persons with disabilities, like work from home option, flexible schedules, accessible workplaces, etc. Who is obliging us that for the first time in the Nigerian Assembly, we will have sign language interpreters, so that when our deaf folks are watching us, the legislature, they will not be trying to figure out what's going on. That is this 10%. The executive have provided some rescue programs, and this executive is also relatively new, and it's like everything is coming to them at once. What are those rescue programs? You heard about the funds that were given to the states, and I'm sure you're also aware of the transportation program. If you have been following the news, they're talking about alternative energy, CNG, things like that. Also, the executive was in negotiation with the Labour Congress. That is something that was also in the news. Now, in the past few days, we will hear the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, which, by the way, that's the ministry that we are under, also has programs to provide some palliatives to our people. Question is that are we satisfied with what is going on? We think that all of us can do more in the legislature and the executive. And one of the things we as a community needs to do is what we are doing today, which is awareness, sensitization, and advocacy. So that sometimes when we deviate or we forget, you can put us back in line. We have the Act now, which is our Act signed into law in 2019. The Act has provided a vehicle for most of the things that we're talking about, that we will talk about. So it is for us to implement the Act. A lot of times, rights are not given to you a la carte. People fight for rights. It's always been like that all over the world. This is something that we should not forget. And look at, there was a time in Nigeria that we didn't have the Act, but now we have the Act because of the relentless effort of some folks who never give up. This is our own time now. Make sure that it gets better.